I'm Bilal Baloch and I'm a partner at Shorooq Partners. So I lead value creation at Shorooq Partners. Value creation typically is a practice area that we find at private equity funds, large scale and later stage investors. So the question is, why at an early stage investor like Shorooq? And therein lies really an indication of how we see ourselves as a fund and an investor, which is we'd like to partner early with founders and really add value. So value creation at Shorooq Partners encompasses three areas. One, capital advisory. When do our founders raise money? Who from? How do they tell their story? And how can we really connect them to pools of capital here in the region and globally? Second, it encompasses business strategy. We invest, of course, in pre-seed to Series A companies. This is a really critical time for founders and companies to nail product market fit, their go-to-market strategy, and also build out their teams. And so the challenges and obstacles that they face during that early stage of their growth, we help them at the ground level in figuring out some of those strategic puzzles. And then the third is talent and culture. Many of our founders are going from a handful of team members, perhaps just the founding team, to overnight, within a few weeks, having the responsibility to deploy capital to build sales teams, product teams, engineering teams, and the like. And so how they do that is a very critical piece of their growth, not least because in a tight labor market, finding the right talent and putting them to the right effect can be very difficult. So we work very closely with them on the identification of talent, finding the right culture fit, building teams, and pushing them in the right direction. In many respects, even my introduction to Shorooq is value creation, right? One of my friends at Mubadala, which is an LP in Shorooq, introduced me to the founding partners, Mahmoud and Shane, and said, look, these guys are doing some interesting stuff. If you're interested in early stage investing, this is the fund that you need to get to know. And my interview process was long and grueling. It was a dance over several months, but that also in itself was a real signal about the focus and attention that Shorooq and its leadership team gives to the talent that comes in-house and how they think about building teams. The culture has been actually one of the most refreshing and promising aspects of the firm. As someone who also is helping other founders and companies build their culture, where I work and the culture that I'm a part of is very important to me. So I'm coming here after 6-7 years of being an operator myself, scaling and building a team. And if you don't get culture right, you can't achieve the vision and the outcomes that you're looking for. It sounds very ephemeral, but who you hire, how you put them together, the direction in which your talent is focused is very important and critical. Whether it's junior colleagues, senior colleagues, members of the Shorooq team that have come from a prototypical finance background, whether they're coming from a non-linear pathway, everyone has come to Shorooq and contributed something important by way of building the team, building different directions for investing in new asset classes, discovering new companies, even the way in which we assess founders, right? Our IC, for example, is not an exclusive group just focused on the partners. We're all welcome and all able to discuss why we're investing in a certain company, a certain market, a certain founder. And so a whole of firm approach really goes into building Shorooq, and that's borne out every day. And for me, that's particularly important because you get to learn from your colleagues as well. This is very much a new market for me to be working in. So it's been a great culture to be a part of. Well, literally, it's my kids. They jump into my bed around 5 a.m. So that's what wakes me up in the morning. But also the variety of work that I engage in. Like many of our listeners and team members, I've always engaged in these sort of team analytics and personal analytics surveys that tell you what kind of work motivates you and what gets you going. And for me, it's always consistently been variety, right? I like to be able to jump in from one puzzle to another. And for me, I have a double benefit in that, one, I get to work with multiple founders and multiple puzzles. And two, even within Shorooq, I get to work on the one hand with our founders and help create value for them. But I also oversee our investor relations and help create value for our LPs. So no given day is the same, and for me that's very important. What excites me most about Shorooq Partners is that we're just scratching the surface. We're really on the ground floor. We're very humble about the fact that what we've achieved so far is only the start. And while that's been very fast-paced, it's in some respects been quite aggressive. We have a long way to go. We want to venture into different types of asset classes. We want to venture into different markets. We want to bring in different stakeholders into Shorooq and our universe, and thereby add value to all of those that enter this journey and join it with us. So for me, what's really exciting is just how early we are in our journey and how much more is left to be achieved. And when I look around to my left and to my right, look at my partners, look at my colleagues, we're all brought into that vision. So that's key for me.